Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Open Mic Stakes, which is either on YouTube or UCLA radio, however you're doing it. I'm Michael Pyle, and with me is my co-host Amos Dixon.
Yeah, guys. So, longtime listeners know, but this is the show where we have comedians from around LA listen to some stand up of theirs, give them some notes on it, berate them, occasional compliments. And this week's actually pretty interesting. We're turning our critical eyes on each other. We'll be reviewing of a couple of each other's sets, and yeah, should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so not too much to lead into. Let's kick this off. So I'll tell you guys, the first clips we're gonna do are from a show we did the other night. What was that show, Amos?
This was the Sexperts show. So we put this on with another club at UCLA called Sexperts, which does like sex education, gives out like free condoms, that sort of thing. But yeah, so the general theme of the show is sex, and I think we will see that in these jokes.
Yeah, we do these shows with the Sexperts group a lot. They're really fun, collaborative. We did them in person too. They do some trivia throughout the night, and one of us usually hosts it. Amos hosted this time. Yeah, kicking it off.
I was halfway through my amazing fucking joke riffing off Melissa's set. We'll start from the beginning. It's okay. I think Melissa's story reminds me of an experience that most guys go through at some. This is train wrecking, guys. I was muted at the beginning. There's a joke about me having a small penis. Just put the pieces together yourself, and give it up for Michael Pyle.
What a great introduction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Michael. So I was the first one of my friends to get vaccinated, and I got lucky. I worked as a veterinary assistant, and son of a bitch.
So that was unintentional. I wasn't sure if that was like part of the bit.
I didn't know if I wanted to say veterinarian's assistant or veterinary assistant. And apparently I've never said veterinary out loud before.
I think my stumbling over the words was just contagious.
Yeah. The phase 1A group for the COVID vaccine due to a clerical error. Now, I could have... No laughs. I don't know what happened.
So actually, I want to give brief, pause real quick. I want to give brief context to the listeners here. About 2 hours before this show, we had stand-up meeting, and Michael refused to do this set because he wanted to save it for the show. I didn't bring this up during the show as a transition because I felt it might be a little too mean. But
it's
Open Mic Stakes listeners, you guys are real ones. You're tuning in late at night to listen to us. You get the deep cuts.
I guess maybe I should have done it so they had known that was a punchline, and then they knew to where to pretend to laugh. Like, hey guys, like this isn't right. Like what we do isn't that important. But no, I just shut up and I pushed past your grandma in line and I got my shot. This is gonna sound pretty defensive, but I kind of wish that they recorded it. We should try to record these shows in gallery mode because some people are unmuted and they're still reacting. So more feedback on your bits. I got an STI test the other day on theme. Not because I'm having sex. I just wanted to check on my asymptomatic chlamydia, like just make sure she's still around. Like it's kind of like a pet or a plant at this point. That's not the real reason, but I do.
Pause it. you you introduced that. That's kind of like already a punchline, you know. The I wanted to check my asymptomatic gonorrhea, but you don't stop. You just slowly keep adding like just wanted to check on it like a pet.
All right. Said kind of snarkily, but good note, I guess.
I do unironically really like that joke
though. Pause after punchlines for laughs or for silence, and then add tags. All right. Got it. I feel like giving like a funny answer when like the iPad asks me why I'm getting tested. It's just like a bit of fun entertainment. That's just for me and like my permanent medical records. The time before that, I put jerking off in public restrooms? Question mark. Because like I was confused. Is that going to be in the trivia section tonight? I hope so. And then I haven't. And then I didn't write anymore because I've only had sex 2 times. All right. This is my impression of a girl. Is that like...
I really thought you were gonna go into you have a bit like about have you had like sex 2 times. I really thought you were gonna go into that.
Yeah, should I have? I don't know.
I think it definitely fit in the set.
Yeah.
And I do think, I mean, I don't know, like jokes aside, I do think this is like a strong set.
It's
I don't know, man. Go ahead.
It's unpolished and it's loosely, bits are loosely connected, but I'm glad you like them.
No, I definitely do. Like yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you said it. Like, definitely could use like a little like work in figuring out like where the most laughs comes from to kind of like end on those between bits. But like all the premises are fucking hilarious. I love the the idea of like filling out the medical forms just kind of to fuck with them, you know. Just kind of having fun with it.
Yeah, I'm glad the punchline is just for me and my permanent medical records whenever because maybe there's something I could add about like when I went in and the guy and the tech was taking my blood. I was like, did he read it? Did he see that? Was
he chats you up about it like, oh, you too?
That's great. It's like, yeah, man.
Stuff out here for us
in the public restroom. Yeah, the bit you were talking about, the sex 2 times, and I can therefore tell any stories about the girls I want because it's ambiguous as to which one it is. Yeah, I like that one. It was in a totally different context, but it transplants pretty well, I think. But I guess that like punchline didn't really like work.
You mean the I've only had sex twice.
Yeah, it was the way I said it was a little clunky, but it might also just be kind of flawed in that like you don't get an STI test every time you have, they're not 1-to-1.
Yeah, I think also it doesn't like, it seems more, this could just be because I know that previous bit, but it does, at least to me, come off more as a transition than a punchline. Like it seems like a funny thing you say between bits, not like the end to your bit, if that makes any sense. It doesn't have that like gravity.
Totally. I think that's what it should be. Yeah. 2 times.
Let's hop back into it.
All right. This is my impression of a girl having sex with me. Why the fuck are you smiling so much? And this is me. I've been thinking a lot about. I like that one.
I got a really good reaction, man.
Yeah.
Like actually.
That's, I think if you guys are watching this on YouTube, it's a good note that the physicality is a lot different when you're on Zoom, and there's a lot more to think about. Like there, I shrugged sillily, and I like practice that in front of the mirror a few times. But my arms were just not on camera, just not framed. So I did a weird kind of wobble, which I guess also works.
The wobble did work, man.
The character I was doing. Yeah. About sex for like the past decade. And I've been thinking a lot about sex for like the past decade. And like I think I've I think I've reached like a milestone. I think like I finally had enough sex where I can have sex even when like I don't really feel like having sex. Like does that make sense? Like I mean like before I was like, oh, it has to mean something, and now I'm like, nah, it's whatever. Like also I can have sex right away now too, like because it doesn't have to be that important. Like I don't need to do oral and then come back later like I used to. I don't know, I was kind of working that bit out on the fly. I don't really know like the beats and the structure, but I have a couple like funny things about it I want to say.
I think with the setup, you need to clarify that you mean like you need to like shorten and clarify the setup, because at first it sounds like you're saying like you let people pressure you into sex when you don't want to have sex. That's what I thought you were going for. I was like, oh shit, this is
okay, yeah, you're right. I guess it's like I can have sex with people that I only kind of want to have sex with.
Yeah, like do something to I don't know, clarify the distinction you're making, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. And
there's a lot of movement going on in this episode.
I do still like the like awkwardly phrased setup, but I think that's more delivery than like actual words. It shouldn't actually be too confusing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or at least not ambiguous like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I do like the does that make sense to you guys? All right, I like that. Some people think that there's a link between like pornography. What about like the two parts? Like I don't know, the two things I say about like never mind. Well,
yeah.
And depression. Have you guys heard this? Sexperts, is that real? Not real?
We're doing some personal research and we'll get back to you.
I love that. That was great.
That was great fucking audience interaction, man. That was real good.
It's a little bit like, I think like in the books you read on comedy and stuff, people are gonna go like, don't give open-ended questions like that, and like if someone says something funny, make sure to flip the attention back on you. But like I mean, I did open-ended questions not to interact with the audience really, but to interact with like my co-hosts, right? The other people putting on the show with me. So I'm glad she did a hilarious line there.
I think also you'd probably imagine that the people from Sexperts who are involved in this show have done a good deal of like talking in front of crowds, like that sort of thing, have a pretty good handle on that. And it probably allows them to be a lot better, like you said, be a lot better of a crowd to ask that sort of question too.
Yeah, right. They're like invested in putting on a good show.
Yeah.
Me too. I think, I don't know, it kind of makes sense. Like porn makes me sad just because like just looking at all this stuff that's like never
gonna happen to me. Like, it's depressing, right? Like, I'm never gonna be able to do any of that. Let me give you like an example. Like, I recently got into this subcategory, girls stuck on poles. Are you guys also fans of that one? Anyway, but I could never
Sorry, man, you gotta pause it real quick. How do you get stuck on a pole? You just like let go. What? I was so confused.
Do I need to describe it more in detail? I don't
Like,
want to.
I think it actually works ambiguous. I like the way you delivered it. I just mean like personally, like how do you get stuck on something you have to grab onto?
It's in them. Is that a flash of understanding there?
Play the clip back. Oh God, I should have asked. Don't elaborate on that. Do not elaborate on that.
Okay.
Oh God, man. Oh, open
Oh,
mic stakes
gross.
is getting too real.
It's so gross.
We're
I have
learning
kind of
too
a rewrite.
much.
What's that?
We're learning too much on this episode.
I have kind of a rewrite of
Oh,
the bit that I think will work better. I can never make that happen in real life. Like, I'd have to buy a pole, install the pole, and my roommates wouldn't agree to that, even though I told them that like they could use it too. Then I'd have to find a girl that's the right height, and then like I'd have to somehow explain to her what I'm into. That would be the hardest part. That's my favorite part of the bit. That's like the
I really like that.
she'd come in and she'd be like, "Why is your coat hanger so low?" I'm like, "Oh no, that's my it's my sex pole." Yeah, what you do is, and she's like, "I can guess." Like, is this the only thing that gets you off? It's like, no, I just thought it looked neat once. All right, thanks, guys.
Oh wait, Amos, the line you give back is so good.
All right, guys, give it up for Michael. Well, I think at this point we need some talented people to help clear up the horrible misinformation that Michael just presented us all with. So, with that in mind, give it up for your sexperts team.
That's so fucking funny, Amos. That's great.
Oh, thank you, man. That was fun. No, dude, I do fucking love the last bit. You're right. I mean, I think the whole thing is actually really strong, but the act out between you having a conversation with this girl you brought over who just has no clue is really, really funny.
Yeah, so if you guys are watching on YouTube, you can follow along. These are my notes. It's my script. It's also, some of it's like in a notebook. That's why it's such a Frankenstein jigsaw puzzle of a set. But yeah, let's take a look at the rework I did of that last joke. I think first of all, the setup's a little smoother. Some people say that pornography leads to depression. I've been doing my own research. Totally stole her. Totally stole it. I'm gonna put it into mine and not credit her at all, except right here. I've been doing my own research, and it kind of makes sense. Like, I get sad watching all the stuff that's never gonna happen to me. Like, my parents are still together. I don't deliver pizza to sororities or whatever. And if I did, like, they'd obviously be able to pay. Like, they're all rich. But I can never make any of the stuff in porn happen, and it's depressing. Okay, like, say, for example, I was into the subcategory girls stuck on poles. So hypothetical. I like doing that, like,
I, I definitely like giving that a moment for the like as a hypothetical part. I like the additions too. It's good to have a couple of it's good to have a couple of just kind of quick beats before you get to the kind of like the meat of
Yeah.
the joke.
I mean, they're a little hack, but
They're just lead-ins. It does it. I don't know.
yeah,
I mean, like if you can come up with better stuff, dope. But like, you just got
I
to have a
mean,
couple giggles to lead in.
yeah. Also, like like it fits into like my spin of it, right? I'm just listing like
Hmm.
porn tropes, but in
Yeah.
the
Yeah. No, you're right. It does definitely like the girl stuck on poles thing is gonna get way more of a reaction if you lead into it with things that people know about.
You're right, actually. That that's pretty funny. Yeah,
You
you're
could
right.
actually, I don't know what sort of reaction this would get, but it could be worth trying. You could go the part about like if they did, they'd obviously be able to pay. You could try taking that out and going kind of like beat one, parents are still together, beat two, I don't deliver pizza to sororities, and then beat three, girls stuck on poles. And I
Ooh,
don't know
interesting.
if, because that's like, I don't know. It could work going that like hard cut from like, ideally the audience would kind of know and laugh a little bit at like the first two and then get like really caught off guard by the third one. Um, but I don't know, yeah, that'd be something to try, see which
You're
way
right.
works better.
The kind of make. Oh, we get that. Oh, we know
Hmm.
what that is.
Hmm.
What?
What the fuck?
um, yeah, I'll see if that works. Definitely something to try at an open mic.
Yeah. Hmm.
I think this construction might work a little better just because I can go back. I have a chance to like go back to the thesis,
Yeah, yeah.
and also it's a little different. These are like just things that would happen, and then girl stuck on poles is something I would have to do, and that's why it's
Yeah, okay, that makes
funny.
sense. Mhm.
Um, say for example, I was into the subcategory girls stuck on poles. It's just a little more comfortable for me to say and like a little funny if I'm like I'm pulling this out of the blue, but we all know I'm not. It just it's totally random.
This is a side note, but I feel like this episode is a spiritual successor to the lucid dreaming episode. I feel like it was sex dreams. Now this is the girl stuck on poles episode.
Right.
And sometime later in the year, we'll have the finale, and we'll see what that is.
Sex dreams, sex fantasies,
Sex.
actual sex?
Live. Yeah. UCLA
Probably
isn't on the
not.
actual radio, right? It's just
What's
online. Like we could.
yeah, we could just share screen to like Pornhub. There you guys go. This is the video I was talking about stumbling upon.
This is the girl stuck on a pole. So actually,
Um,
I am looking at this. So this is one of the questions I kind of had. It seems like the stuff from this show is pretty like written out. It seems like most of the stuff you say like in the actual set is like all kind of like contained here.
um, yeah, more like I
Mhm.
had some notes and then I kind of like transcribed and edited it after the show.
Yeah, that makes sense. So like your notes before the show, were they as kind of in depth as this, or was it more? I don't know. Take me through that a little bit.
So some were fully written out, like this is edited a little, but that was mostly totally written out. Um, that one's written out. It's just a short, like a one-liner, or it wasn't, but it
Mhm.
doesn't matter. And then this, some of it was written. I rewrote most of it though.
Mhm.
But Yeah, on Zoom when you have like your notes in front of you, it's pretty easy to just read things word for word, but I think that's also kind of a trap.
Yeah.
Um, like the enough sex was not written out at all. I had
Mhm.
I had the 3 things I wanted to hit,
Mhm.
and that was it. And then I was riffing on it because that's like what I was doing with
I'm also noticing peyote and self-defense here. That looks like they got scrapped from the. I'm very interested in how those would have fit in.
Me too. You might see those ones today at the Sunday show.
Oh, dope! I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
Also, yeah. So, but yeah, you were talking about the trap of kind of having everything written out and it being very easy to just kind of read off your notes. And that's
Yeah.
funny because I think that's like a conclusion that a lot of us in the club have kind of like independently come to, like when Zoom first started, I was 100%, had the fucking second screen. I was like reading word for word. And in addition to just making my like delivery like a lot more stale, it was just a lot less fun for me.
Yeah.
So what I've been forcing myself to do recently is just kind of do like bullet points of like topics, and maybe like if there's something that I know I might forget, or like a punchline that's easy to skip over that I want to hit, I'll like put something like that in there.
Right.
And then
yeah.
like, yeah, so it sounds like we've been kind of doing similar things, and then I'll kind of like transcribe most of it afterwards. And in addition to just helping with Zoom, I feel like it's helped a ton even with the like socially distanced in-person shows that we do, just in terms of like it forces me to keep a better energy and be more kind of like active and involved, because I can't just rely on like, oh, I have this memorized. I can turn my brain off and just, recite this thing.
I think that's a big part of like the energy that's lost is that people are reading the script. Also, I've tried to move away from scripts more or less. There's sometimes like I want to try specific wordings, which Zoom is great for trying specific. But but also I really like working bits out on stage, seeing what happens.
Yeah, no, the shows have been really good for that.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to move into my sexperts set, and then or do you have more stuff you want to talk about the notes here?
Yeah, I have next half of the edited
Go for it.
Girls on Poles bit. I could never make that happen. I would have to buy a pole. They're expensive, and then I'd have to install the pole. Then my roommates would never agree to that, or like my landlord would never agree to that. I don't. And then even though I told them they could use it, I don't know if I cut that or not.
I like that line. I think definitely keep it roommates.
Okay.
Even though I do like the idea of you telling your landlord that he could use it. Or she could use it, I guess, in your
That's
case.
also
But
funny going to your landlord to ask permission, like, hey, I want to make
sex pole.
It'll increase the market value of the house. And then if I bring a girl home, which is nearly impossible as is, I would have to somehow explain to her what I'm into. She'd be like, "Why is your coat hanger so low?" I'm like, "That's that's my sex pole. What you do is, or I get a stool. The video actually didn't show how the girls got stuck. It was like, yeah, I think I get it. And that's why I think porn leads to depression. It's not perfect. Last line. Go for it.
I like more of the. I like that you kind of drew out the conversation between you two and added a little more like nervous backpedaling on how exactly the mechanics of everything works.
I like that part. The video didn't show.
Yeah. I think you were mentioning this as I started talking, but yeah, I think the last line about why porn leads to depression, I think you could probably cut it unless you bulk it up a bit and make it more of a additional punchline. Just because I feel like that I think I get it part is like the peak of the joke, and then I think to call back to the premise without going anywhere else with it.
Takes away something.
Yeah.
I was kind of doing like this, it's always funny when a comedian like has a point they want to make, and then they get like really into the woods and you're like following along with them, and then they go, so that is to say my earlier point. You're like, that's all this was for. That's
I think
so,
it would depend on the show. I think like, for example, over Zoom, I would like never do that last line, because I think Zoom is so like disengaging, you know?
yeah.
But I think it would be worth trying in some in-person shows, because you're like able to actually get the audience so involved.
Yeah,
And it can be interesting to see if they get that reaction.
You can do that. You can do a lot more like with your body language. You can do like that pause, and then that like reset of, and so that's why like the maybe you move around on stage. And also like the wording here isn't the best. It's really just a placeholder for the idea.
No, I think I get what you're saying though. It definitely could be worth trying out at one of the shows.
Yeah, we'll try it today, definitely.
All right. I will give a brief lead in. We already covered the sex work show. Unfortunately, my actual set from that didn't get recorded. So I'm gonna be playing one from the meeting right beforehand where I do the same set. So I can't remember if the meeting audience was better or the show audience was better. But we shall see, I guess. Let me share my screen. All right, so this is my sex perks instead of sex hurts set there.
Full screen. Yeah, nice.
There we go. I need to complain with you guys. I didn't write a set for this. I don't actually have any jokes. And in fact, I don't even really want to be here. I get a lot of performance anxiety during stand-up and during sex. So you can imagine how I felt when they reached out to me to host this show. And again, like sex, I agreed only out of pure fear that this might be the only chance I get.
that line's
but yeah, I mean, I've been
way to write for the room. That's fantastic.
No, thank you, man. I don't know. I was definitely like, I was very much struggling throughout the week to like write anything related. And I feel like the thing I fall back on whenever I do that is just write meta comedy about how much trouble I'm having. And for whatever reason, that starts to get the ideas flowing.
It's cool. I mean, that's kind of like, I don't know, your style or recurring theme, and I always really like it. I do want to I think there's totally a way to use that analogy later, because it's gold. The only reason I do it is fear that it won't happen again. That's so funny.
I definitely could bring that back. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be looking throughout this set for places I can bring that back.
It's kind of just like an intro to any joke you tell about sex, maybe.
Yeah,
like why I'm at this show.
Yeah, especially if I can find a good hook, that'd be very good.
But it's
fucking struggling to write a set for this all week. I can write jokes about like other things fine. Like on Tuesday, I wrote like 2 pages about like fucking trail mix. But for whatever reason, I can't bring myself to like write any sex jokes. I gotta do a quick shout out here. We had Neil Ghosh on the show last quarter, and I think at the very end of the show, he talked about like white comedians being able to write jokes about anything. Like I think it was like the example he used was like trail mix or pasta salad or something like that.
I knew that sounded familiar.
I heard that and I was like, I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna use that as a lie.
That's like a nod to him because you don't say anything about you being white and being able to do it.
Yeah.
It's like an Instagram for us. I love it. I knew it's familiar. That's so funny.
And I've been trying to figure out why I write any sex jokes. And I've been trying to figure out why this is. And I think it might have something to do with how my parents gave me the talk. For context, my parents were divorced. So I feel like they both kind of felt obligated to talk to me about it, but like secretly hoped the other one would do most of the hard work. But like, so like my dad gave me the talk like this. Like when I was in 8th grade, we were driving somewhere and just out of the blue, he says, "Son, I already know you talk to your friends at school about sex all the time. There's nothing I can teach you that you don't already know." And it's like, all right, man, fair. Like that's true. But also my friends do fucking whippets in the bathroom. You shouldn't be trusting them with giving me life lessons. So I got this note during meeting and I worked it into the set I did at the actual show. But like that's a true story. And thinking back on it, like I was fucking 12. What? There was definitely things that my dad knew that I didn't.
or your dumb whippet doing friends. That was
But there was 100% things that we didn't know, and I just had to learn those the hard way.
Whatever line you did there at the show, I remember because I gave you that note. I like it worked.
No, it worked really well, man. Yeah, just
This is funny.
my mom addressed it in a very different way. I came home from school one day and she said, "I left something for you on your bed," and then she ran away. And I went into my room.
I love
and
that.
I saw also just that's kind of my mom's response to things. I've talked at length on the show before about like trying to show her like a stand-up video and actually accidentally showing her a sketch that like featured me miming sex with someone, and like same reaction, just kind of silently watched the stand-up set and then like booked it and just like just didn't talk to me for like the rest of the day.
It's a great image you put in our head too.
Ran away. And I went into my room and I saw this book, which features amazing chapter titles like
so it's funny
"No One's Ever Died."
That means you brought this to college with you.
So I'm gonna pull back the curtain a bit here. So first off, actually, real quick, I saw someone put that in the chat during the actual Zoom show. They put like, "Why does he still have it?" But to pull back the curtain a bit, this is the only lie in this set. My mom did get me a book. It was about like sex and puberty. It did have like goofy chapter titles and like comic pictures and all that stuff, but it's not that book. That book that I have there was given to me last Christmas by my friend Campbell Martin. I do not know why, but it has been in my closet in like this deep corner because at once like I can't like throw it away, you know, like it's a weirdly sentimental gift, but at the same time, I don't want anyone ever to find it or see it.
I think he knew you might be needing it.
No, it came in handy. I had a prop for the show, which actually featured some way more entertaining chapter titles than the original book. Blue balls. It's like, "No one's ever died of blue balls." "Don't be a sack racer."
What does that mean?
And features my alt.
What is that chapter on?
It's on like not rushing to lose your virginity.
Okay.
It's like don't rush to jump in the sack.
I
like
had
that's the
I had two possible interpretations. It was like, don't like romance someone a little bit. Don't just like get right to bed, or like try to last a long time, which is a very funny thing to put in a book like that. Wait,
Oh god.
that's pretty funny. If like a child's just like book on like the birds and the bees and puberty have like in detail um tricks and tips on like how to make a woman come.
Oh man, that's actually kind of a good note because this part of the set in both meeting and in the show got like fairly diminished laughter, you know, like it got some giggles just off the chapter names, but I've been looking for a way to draw those out and maybe like dive into like what the chapters are about. And so I think that's actually, you know, it could be fun to just not actually talk about what they're about, but talk about what it sounds like they're saying just from the title, and that could stretch that out and get some
Totally.
more laughs and make that a little more solid.
And that's also what comedy is. Like we want to hear from you, right?
Mhm.
So we want to see funny observation and then your commentary on it. And that's a great way to do it.
I think also, so actually this is a side note. I wanted to include this somehow, but it felt like too wordy. There's like a Q&A part at the end of each chapter where I guess they talk to local teens and answer their like sex questions. And one of them is, this guy is writing and he says like, I've only had sex with one other person before, my current boyfriend. Before we have sex, he wants me to get an STI test. I really don't want to, but he's so hot, so I'm gonna do it.
That's the lesson. Dude, you should include that. The lesson there is that it's okay to give ugly people herpes.
It's such a weird like it's such horrible reasoning. I know why they included it in the book. It is horrible fucking reasoning for why you should or should not get an STD test.
It's also funny that she would like, I don't know, refuse to have sex with her boyfriend because he wanted her to get tested.
No, it's so bizarre, man. I need to like do a deep dive through this book. There are, when Campbell initially got it for me, we as like a group went through and just like skimmed it and found funny stuff. And there were some like gold parts that I just like could not find again while I was looking through it. But there's some gold in that book.
You got to do a reread, yeah.
Don't be a sack racer. And features my all-time favorite picture ever.
What is that?
Hold on one second, my audio.
I'll describe it for the people on radio. It's a teenager with a thought bubble, and in the thought bubble is him with his pants down, presumably with his dick in a cold soda vending machine. What's the point of that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, Joe, I'm back.
I was describing the picture because why is it in a thought bubble?
It's masturbation fantasies. That is the title of the chapter.
You have to say that. That's so funny. That's what he's fantasy.
No, man, it is. I can tell the authors had the artists had a lot of fun writing this book. To them.
He's going at it too. He's like holding the vending machine. It's clearly not just sexual between them.
Clearly romantic.
The sex education in my school wasn't that great either. Like, we had a week of sex ed when I was in like 7th grade. And on the first day, the teacher tried to make us feel more comfortable. So she was like, look, it's not a big deal to be talking about this stuff. Watch. And she went out in the hallway and she yelled, penis, 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 penis. Right as a group of 2nd graders were walking back from lunch. So,
Oh, we lost the sound.
Oh, sound dropped out? How about now?
No, I still can't hear it. Can you?
Yeah, let me. Okay, one more
To
time.
reshare.
walking back from lunch. So for the rest of the week, we just like played dodgeball in the gym.
That's great.
Yeah, again, man, that's what kind of saved me during this set was as I was kind of like struggling to write stuff, I kind of just like, I was like, okay, let me just think of any remotely funny story from my life related
And
to
that
this.
was true.
Yeah, no, that's completely true. This again, the only lie in this set is the
Book.
the
Which
book.
book?
Yeah, which book it is.
It's so funny because I like heard that and I was like, oh, this is like I don't know, like something she does every year.
Yeah.
Like some kind of like tactic.
No, the additional context too is that we actually weren't supposed to be getting, like, we were supposed to get sex ed that year, but they had a specific week for it and they were going to send out forms to all the parents and do like that sort of thing where you could opt out. And she just decided to teach it like way early. So the reason it was a big deal was because like she like really like stepped over the like California mandates on like how you teach sex ed.
Yeah.
And
It's silly that
the other additional context is in addition to a bunch of 2nd graders there, the school principal was also out in the hallway.
I love the jump to, and then we played dodgeball for the rest. Is it your phys ed teacher that did that?
It was our no, it was just like our like biology, like our science teacher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Without sex ed, you make really stupid mistakes. Like whenever I was a freshman in high school, I was in my car with this girl, and we had just eaten tacos. And to give you an idea of what happened, by the time we started fooling around, she had salsa still in her mouth. I had salsa on my fingers. It was a horrible time for both of us and a great metaphor for STDs. Yeah, here's
Yeah. Somewhere little additional backstory on that. Another just that was actually the that was actually when I lost my virginity. That was my first experience.
With the salsa fingers.
Yes. Somewhere there's a recording, I believe on Jay's computer, of a podcast that was recorded during a Shenanigans after party where we went around the room and everyone told the story of how they lost their virginity. And that is on there. I'm just trashed.
One of the Zoom after parties?
No. Like this is like 2 years ago.
What?
Yeah. It
That's
was
so funny.
that is somewhere out there in the ether.
Yeah, I don't know. Not having sex ed, it fucks you up in other ways too. Like whenever I first started having sex, I would only buy condoms in packs of 2. Like I think I was terrified that I wasn't going to use them, and then I would just be like.
Another quick side note: the same night as salsa night, I was like driving over there, and I realized like, wait, I have no condoms. I've not prepared in the slightest if this happens. And so I like swung by a CVS that was just like on the way, and they had like like a 2-pack for like $15. And for a moment, I like didn't have a job at the time. For a moment, I was like, shit, is it worth it?
That's so much money.
It's so over. Okay, I looked this up like while I was running this set, like looked up like condom like 2-packs, see how much they cost. And online it was like $5,
Yeah.
$6, that sort of thing. Like this fucking CVS was gouging people
That's
who didn't know better.
ridiculous.
Real quick before we all right, let's get back into it.
Like taunted by just drawer full of unused condoms. And this is a horrible fucking financial decision. It was like $14 for each pack. The fact that it was even financially viable at all just serves to like the infrequency at which I was having to buy them. Now now I'm a fucking businessman with that shit, you know? Sometimes we'll run out of condoms and my girlfriend will suggest like running to CVS. I'll be like, babe, you gotta run the numbers on this shit. We go to CVS, we're paying like 89 cents per condom. We use my mom's Amazon Prime account, we're bringing that down to 76 cents. You see this chart right here? This is if we use the Amazon stuff. We go to CVS, we're this red line right here. And this red frowny face is bankruptcy. All right, guys, that's my set. You guys.
God, that fucking chart is invisible. The bolder lines was a very good note for people.
I love the character and the act out there, the financier.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I am legitimately taunted sometimes by how good of a deal on condoms you can get on Amazon Prime. But the only Amazon Prime I have, like account I have access to, is my mom's, and just for I just don't want to do that. Like I don't think she would call me out, but I just don't want to have to make her see me buy the like jumbo box.
By in just a huge bulk.
Yeah, all right. I think I'm probably gonna let me pull up the notes now.
Yeah, let's check them out.
Awesome. Can you see this all right? Cool. Yeah, so this is the notes. This is all fairly written out. This is kind of a similar thing. This is the more written out version I did after I performed it a couple times. Though by the time I was at meeting, I'd already ran through the set with a couple different people and got more of the kind of like improv stuff out of the way. But yeah, so I mean here it's all pretty straight. Yeah, nothing super interesting. Pretty much just a transcript. Let me see if I can find the bullet points version of this. It doesn't look like I'll be able to. But yeah, this started off as kind of like we were talking about earlier. Very much just kind of like a bulleted list of topics I wanted to hit. And then, yeah, just kind of ran through it with a couple people and got the hang of like talking about it in the delivery I wanted and that sort of thing. Saw which punchlines they liked and all that, and was able to put together a more polished set from it. And actually, I got a lot of really good notes at meeting as well. Just in terms of like delivery, but also like which parts worked. I know I ended up adding some stuff at the end here for the show. And yeah, just kind of switch the wording on some things.
Totally, yeah. And so what are like the next steps for this?
I think probably, so one thing I want to do as well, I want to go through my older bits that I've written, because this was all newly written for this show. And I want to go through older bits I've written, see what works well in this set, what kind of fits with the theme, and really try to. I've been trying to do that actually a lot. Whenever I've been like writing new stuff that actually kind of forms a coherent set around like a specific thing with transitions and all that, I've been trying to just dive back through. I have like a stand-up like master document that just has like every joke I've ever written on it, and I will just scroll down and see anything that I think is funny and can fit into this, and kind of forming like longer sets out of that, because that's a thing I've been like, I guess, struggling with in general, is having those like I could do like 3 minutes, you know, on a theme coherent fine.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder, like once I'm stretching myself to the 5-6 minute mark, I find myself doing a lot more like non sequitur transition, you know, hopping around a lot between various kind of unrelated things.
Yeah, once you do longer stuff, it gets like exponentially more difficult, and then you're like, how the fuck are people doing hours
specials?
It's incredible. Unbelievable. My like, yeah, oh my god.
No, like genuinely, I had so much. I still have this weird confidence where I am struggling to put together like 5 or 6 minutes, but for some reason my brain thinks that like if I needed to write like an hour and a half, like I could do it, you know?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, here's the thing. I might like, from doing this for 4 years, my whole like college career, I think I might have like 2 hours of material, maybe less. That's just a number out of the air. And then I probably have like 45 minutes that I like, and yeah, 45 minutes that I might still like.
Yeah, no, man, it genuinely does give you a much greater appreciation for people who can like put together fucking specials, let alone like people who put out frequent specials, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'll watch like Carlin stuff once in a while, and he put out like a new fucking special like every year.
Yeah,
and
he's
it's
crazy
all new
prolific.
material. It's all new material. And it is just it's fucking mind-boggling.
It also gives me like a much better understanding of like, oh shit, like this can be a job. This can be like 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah, no, the it's deceptive how much like time it takes, you know. Just like ironing down just this sexpert bit probably took me like, I don't know, 5 hours to come up with all the concepts, another 2 hours just working with people on it and getting it like workshopped. And this is to get it to be good enough for a 4-minute performance at a zoo comedy show.
I know. Yeah, there's the writing, and then there's the editing and revising, which you can't really do unless you've shown it off in like a couple places. Workshopping with friends is good. Like what you and I do, this show is really helpful. Bouncing bits off friends. Yeah.
And I think we see this a lot too with some of the comedians we've had on that are like doing this professionally and have done this for like years now. And like I think when we had Neil on, he had like a fairly recent set, and then he had a clip from like a year or two before where he was like, you know, this is where I was coming up with that joke.
Yeah.
And
right. I know, that's crazy.
I don't know. Yeah, that's definitely, with going through and kind of going through my limited back catalog and trying to like put together stuff. I'm definitely trying to get more comfortable with like really developing a bit over time.
Yeah.
Instead of like, you know, doing my current pattern of like getting bored with something or like having like a bomb and never wanting to hear or talk about it again.
I know that patience is really like, I don't know, a skill, something you have to build up. That's hard to do,
Mhm.
especially when you're showing jokes to like the same people every week. Something new to show them, but
Yeah.
also like I just feel like it's college. I'm 20. I'm just like changing so fast, so much year to year. I'm
Mhm.
in my 20s, and that like, you know, some stuff I look back and I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is still me. Other stuff I'm like, I don't know how I would say that now.
You know, I frequently think about the people who stick with stand up after college, either like if people who are like trying to make it or even just like people who start doing the open mic circuit. It'll be very interesting to see, like, I don't know, honestly, in 5 years, what type of jokes people are telling.
I know. Oh my God, like a Shenanigans reunion.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun.
Shit. All right, man. Seems like the show is kind of drawing to its natural conclusion. Let's plug some stuff. Open mic stakes every Monday, UCLA Radio, 9
9 p.m.
o'clock, 9
That's the
p.m.
comedy hour. So if you guys want other shows, other comedy shows from UCLA Radio, you can tune in every night. Sunday is the riff with Shenanigans interviews, kind of like what we do, but a little more like just what's going on day to day and from all over the club, not just stand up Shenanigans.
Mhm.
Yeah. Also, if anyone's in Westwood, we do live shows on Sundays at 4 p.m. sometimes. On campus, the Fowler Museum. Those are fun. Soon
Great shows.
we're going to show some clips from that and talk about that if we have another Amos and Michael episode. Yeah,
Dope.
and I think that's it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Check
All
out
right,
Shenanigans.
open mic stakes gang. See you next week.